Chapter 1. The lake was enchanted. I don't know where to start. Hey, kind of awkward, but I don't even know where to start with this. Burton, I love that your present badge matches your username color. So should we talk about Fringilla first? That's the main thing I wanted to tell you guys, because some people, that's what I know I absolutely have to get to, because people were asking questions about that. So a couple people were like, I don't understand what you mean, and I think I phrased it wrong. But in one of the episodes, I was talking about how Fringilla is an illusionist. So Geralt's time in Toussaint was like, the fact that he stayed for longer was because, at least initially, she charmed him. And a few people didn't agree with that or get that. And Caleb didn't even notice at first, but then I read to him all the things that I found. And he was like, oh, she's a master illusionist. And Sapkowski says that at the beginning. The castle is not an illusion. Fringilla is not an illusion. It's not an implanted memory. It's more that she charmed him initially. And I have some evidence. I mean, it still could be debated. You know, it still could be debated that that was just included. And it's not related. She stood up and walked towards him, taking off her gloves. Her eyes were dark and profound beneath the curtains of her eyelashes. She smelled of ambergris, roses, library dust, decayed paper, minium and printing ink, oak gall ink, and strychnine, which was being used to poison the library mice. The smell had little in common with an aphrodisiac, so it was all the stranger that it worked on him. Don't you believe in sudden impulses and in unforeseen attractions and the impacts of fireballs flying along collision trajectories and cataclysms? So for me, I'll try not to cry at this music. For me, like, why would he use the words, it was all the stranger that it worked on him? Magical makeup. Yeah, and oh, for sure. Like, I also want to say, I think there was a mutual attraction. I don't know if it was true love, but there was definitely attraction. I think if Yen didn't exist in the world, they would be together much more than Triss and Geralt. Okay, I ship Fringilla and Geralt way more than Triss, okay? And I know I got to the end and I saw the redemption arc, and I'll get to that. I'll get to that, trust me, for Triss. Anyways, but she's so, like, I love her. I love her hair. Okay, so so then there's a point where Angoulême's like, there's something bewitched about, okay. There's something bewitched about this place, this fucking Toussaint. Some kind of charm hangs over the whole valley, especially over the palace. I was surprised at Dandelion. I was surprised at the Witcher, but now I'm nauseous and I've got a weird feeling in the pit of my stomach. Shit, I even caught myself ... I'm not going to tell you that. Seriously, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here as fast as possible. Tell that to Geralt, said Milva. It's him you should tell. So at first, Geralt was like, let's go. You know, like, through the books, he's the one that's like, there's no destination, but we have to find Ciri. We have to find Yen. Let's keep moving forward. So it's so out of character for him to just like stick around. And part of it is non-magical stuff. Fringilla is hot. His friends are happy. He's getting paid. So they're using non-magical things as well to keep them in Toussaint. But the fact that it's Fringilla, it could have been anyone then. It could have been anyone if she wasn't using some kind of charms. You know, like the smells. Yeah. Hi, Winter. Hi, Owl. Yeah, and let himself Ephes. That's true. Like, I definitely think that Geralt kind of allowed it to happen in a way. Like, he suspected. And why is the music so depressing? Because it's Zelda. He, not to say like he let it happen to him, but I feel like he kind of did. I think there was a choice there of I want to be distracted. And then so this is when Geralt is walking through the corridors. He passed through corridors quickly and soundlessly. Not even the candle flames flickered as he passed by the candelabras. He often went that way. In the alcove, it smelled of charms and witchcraft, ambergris and roses, and woman's sleep. But Fringilla wasn't asleep. She sat up in bed, enthralling him with the sight and taking possession of him. "You're here at last," she said. "You neglect me dreadfully. Get undressed and come here quickly." And then, you know, the next page, it talks about Fringilla walking and the illusion that she created to talk to the lodge. And she goes, okay, so then it goes, "The corridor in the chamber, disguised by a powerful illusion, blah, 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 was linked to Artorius Vigo, a master of magical arcana and great specialist in illusions, and his young niece Fringilla, who had a special talent for illusions." And then she like opens up a wall, like she hid a room. So I think that that's purposeful, you know, that comes right after, because I was so confused. I was like, what is happening? Like, how did he go from there to there? It like didn't make sense to me, but I think it's so clever because it's the author telling you like, oh, he was charmed. I think that they were all kind of charmed because they were all acting out of character. Milva, you know, being really focused on the Baron, the hunter, and then Regis hooking up with the succubus, and they were just getting sleepy and happy, and I don't know. And I just feel like they were all kind of bewitched to an extent. Couscous, hello. Yeah, and there was that too, how Geralt thought Yen betrayed him, yeah, with Vilgefortz. And then Fringilla goes, "Has the Witcher calmed down now?" So I think that the charms were mainly like to calm. And what do you use to calm? You use sex, you use romance, you use sleepiness, you use money, you use like just like to slow down. And then Philippa goes, "Are you capable of keeping him in Toussaint at least until May?" Fringilla said nothing for some time. She didn't have the slightest intention of mentioning to the lodge that only in the last week the Witcher had called her Yennefer twice, and both at a moment when in every respect she was entitled to hear her own name. But the lodge in turn was entitled to expect the truth. So she goes, "No, probably not until May, but I'll do everything in my power to keep him here as long as possible." Everything in my power. Everything in my power. Right, Drunken? Idol, hello. Dandelion the Duchess. Like, it is in character for Dandelion, but he was a little lovesick. And then notice when Geralt leaves, he ends up on the chopping block because he's fucking around. He's not like some lovesick puppy who's only going to be with her. Like, I feel like that's when Fringilla was like, hands up, and then he fucks around with other women in Toussaint. So yeah, I think that Fringilla and Geralt they do have a connection, and they would have had a legitimate fling, no magic, if Yennefer didn't exist, because Yennefer is his love. And that's why I like the idea of them better together than Triss and him, because Triss tried to use magic, and even with magic, it didn't work. So, oh, right by Yen and Ciri's birthdays is the maximum length Fringilla. Could have kept him there, yeah. And I think she was just trying to really distract him and just make him not think of those girls, you know? December came, Yule came, then the new year, the Witcher calmed down sufficiently to stop mentioning Ciri in every conversation. The expeditions against monsters that he regularly undertook seemed utterly to absorb him. And then this is Fringilla talking. Well, perhaps not quite utterly. She paused. It seemed to her she could detect a flash of hatred in Triss Marigold's eyes. Take that, bitch. But it might just have been the gleam of flickering candle flame. Philippa snorted. I live for these scenes. It's so funny. He fell asleep in my arms with his mouth on my bosom, searching for a surrogate for the maternal love, blah, 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 blah. This time she was certain it wasn't the gleam of candlelight. Triss's hatred. Very well, I pray you. Envy me, she thought. Envy me. There's plenty to envy. He was, she repeated, completely in my power. For Triss' embarrassment. And then, yeah, it was around Ciri, their birthdays. And she's just like, you don't love me. And he's like, come on, shush. Yeah, exactly. I know, when he led the lodge to the wrong place. And then Fringilla had to make a cream to stop blushing. She was so fucking embarrassed. That's so funny. Like, she fell for him in the end. And even when Geralt comes to and kind of realizes he's being tricked and yada, 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 he still has sex with her. He still sleeps with her. And Yennefer, after she met Geralt, they said, I love you. She went to go break up with Ixra. I always forget his name. I'm sorry. Ixra? Istra? Sorry. The mage. And she slept with him before breaking up with him. And I think that's just like, it's not that big of a deal in this world is how I took it. Like, I didn't read that and think, come on, Geralt. Like, I feel like it's just the world, you know? Istrid, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, and then I feel like Angoulême, after she kind of freaks out and is like, something's happening to there's a charm over the palace. I feel like then Fringilla charmed her, because then she talks about opening up a brothel. And she's very excited about opening up a brothel. It's really sweet. But yeah, I love that he tricked her. And then at that point, Philippa and Sheila are so funny, because they're just like, it's okay, we all get tricked by men. They're such bitches, the lodge. They're such bitches, y'all. And then Fringilla's talking to Regis. She goes, suit yourselves, the Witcher shall stay here in Toussaint with me. Regis goes, I think that you are wrong, Madame Vigo. The dream that the Witcher is dreaming, I humbly submit with respect, is an enchanting and beautiful one. But every dream, if dreamed too long, turns into a nightmare. And we awake from such dreams screaming. So I think that kind of is confirming this is all a distraction. To me, there's magical intervention as well. I know, Drunken, I know. I hate that she died in Ciri's arms. Let me tell you, I especially hated them at the end, but I get so excited whenever there's a lodge scene, okay? You can't say to me that it's not interesting as fuck. It's super interesting, but they're crazy. Oh, I love this quote from, I forget who's talking to Philippa, but she goes, "Revenge," said the sorceress from Kovir, "is the delight of mediocre, weak, and petty minds." "Perhaps," agreed Philippa with an apparently indifferent smile, "but that doesn't stop it being a delight." I love that. And I'm glad we're talking about this now because we're going to do some Sorceress Lodge stuff in the game. So it's fun to remember and explore. But I love that. I feel like that sums up Philippa perfectly. Yeah, they do get outplayed. And that's the thing. I feel like Philippa is a little too confident. And she doesn't understand. Like, she doesn't understand human nature and why people do the things. She's just a little out of touch. Hey, warrior. And so then they send this whole not rescue mission, but they send this whole search party because Geralt told Fringilla where Vilgefortz was. And then she starts blushing. She's like, I can't comprehend. I don't understand. And then Triss goes, "But I do." Girl, you had nothing with him. You had nothing. Shut up. Anyways. And then Sheila goes, "Oh, it's nothing serious. No one's perfect." Philippa snorted softly. "After all, it's befallen on all of us at some time. Each of us sitting here has been cheated, taken advantage of, and made a laughing stock of by some man at some time." They're such bitches. And I love them. They're so rude. And that affected Fringilla so much. She made a cream to hide her blushing, to physically stop blushing. Hilarious. They're so rude with Ciri. Oh my God. And that's why I'll never forgive Triss. And remember Yennefer telling Triss, like, that's your sister. You called her your little sister yourself, and you're working with the lodge to take away her free will. And Trish just being like, "Forgive me." And Yen goes, "Oh no, never. I'll never forgive her either. Especially not after her stupid little redemption arc where she does a little spell, but she's the one that got them in that place in the first place. And also is helped by Yen." Anyways, sorry. She was fuming. Geralt pulled a true gamer move on Fringilla. Oh my God, guys, I can't. When Ciri is trying to escape the elves and she ends up in this inn and she finally goes to sleep, and like, she doesn't understand the language there, but the innkeeper is like stroking her back. Like, they don't understand each other, but the innkeeper is stroking her back as she's sleeping and she woke up from a really bad dream. And then Ciri goes, "I must write," she said at last. And the woman smiled, jingling melodiously. How does it happen, thought Ciri? What can it be ascribed to that in all worlds, places, and times, in all languages and dialects, that one word always sounds comprehensible and always similar? Yes, I must ride to my mama. My mama is waiting for me. The innkeeper led her out into the courtyard. It's just like, she, more than Geralt, I feel like Ciri and Yen's relationship is something else. Like, that's her mom. That's her mom. And the amount of time she calls her mom and Yen calls her daughter is so sweet. Yes, Ephes. A French inn. Nice. I didn't even pick that up. That's so cute. Hi, Akami. Yeah, so y'all could have warned me that literally all of them die. Even the fucking vampire dies. And I know that's what I knew is what I was signing up for, okay? They knew what they were signing up for, and they actively chose to go with Geralt. They knew they wanted to reunite them. I loved that chapter so much, even though it was depressing. I love how Sapkowski honored Milva and Angoulême and Cahir, especially Milva and Cahir, with the flashbacks. Even Philippa's flashback, when she thought she was going to die, right? Or no, it wasn't when she thought she was going to die. It was when she was deciding if Ciri should go see Geralt. But I love the use of those flashbacks. I feel like it really gets us to understand the characters. And like that whole chapter, I felt like so sad and sick. And to learn what Vilgefortz was planning to do to Ciri, the artificial insemination. And then to know like he tortured Yen for how long? And people like to say that Yen is like toxic and uppity and spoiled. And her hands are described as like masses of blood after the torture. And just the idea, like the image of them, the three of them leaving that castle, leaving the place of torture. Yen is just like barely hanging on, following them. Geralt and Ciri are just calmly talking to each other. Like Geralt's like, it's okay, let it out, girl. Like, you know, like keep moving forward. They're just slaughtering, murdering anyone that's in their way. Like only a little bit farther. Yen is trying to help as she can. Like no one's carrying her though, even though she was just fucking tortured and then released. And her and Geralt killed Vilgefortz, who is so OP. He's so powerful. And then Ciri's fight with Bonhart was wild. I love that she, like, through the hardest battles for her Witcher training is what comes in handy the most. Well, because she renounced her power. But, like, the pirouette, the rafters, how she jumped up, and then Bonhart tried to jump up, and then he just, like, fucking fell. But the pirouettes, the spins, it's all about being a Witcher. And I just feel like she just really, she is a Witcher through and through. She's a Witcher girl. She's the Witcher girl. And that's what she wants. And that's who she's supposed to be. And yes, she might be able to go through time and space and, you know, have this crazy magic. But like, she's a Witcher, you know? She's a Witcher. I love her so much. I'm sorry. Hi, Shin. Jens, I knew you'd come for me to Geralt. I'm gonna literally cry. I know, Bamba. It's like we really feel like we're in her head. Also, I just love her interactions too. Guys, the unicorn. the unicorn. When the unicorn came back. Ithra, I lost it. And she's like, little horse, hi. So it's just her, Kelpie, and then the unicorn going through time and space. It's so cute. And he's like, I remember you. You helped me. And if that ain't the Witcher, if that ain't the freaking point of the Witcher, that for Geralt and Yen, even Yen, with like the dwarven bankers and stuff, they remember the small things that these people do for them and they come through. And yes, it was a unicorn, but like the idea that like, I don't know, I could be in the world of cyberpunk and just see Ciri, Kelpie, and a unicorn. I love it. Anyways, and then Ciri stayed with Angoulême until she died. Like Angoulême died in her arms. And then also Ciri almost instantly forgiving Cahir. Cahir is a beautiful character. I love all of them. Like I love Rages. I love that Rages came lying in as a bat, and then like in front of Ciri, their first meeting, he just drinks some blood. He drinks like the soldier's blood. And he's like, I feel like now's a really good time to have a drink, huh? Now's a good time as any. And she just like, she accepts them and loves them because she knows if they're traveling with Geralt, they're good people. Chair Netflix. I don't even know. I want to rewatch the show and just like record my reaction. I think that'd be really funny. But I'm gonna like absolutely lose it and walk away at Cahir's. Oh, so then Ray just dies, which like... he's not even supposed to die. He's a vampire. So that's great. So he dies. And Yen goes, who was that, Geralt? A friend. I'm going to miss him. Was he a human? The epitome of humanity. How are you, Yen? Bro, I can't. I'm so mad. Like, I was genuinely hopeful that one of these characters would show up in the games, and I'm like so upset. I love Regis. Yeah. It's really sad. But they all went out the way they wanted to. I loved his reunion with Zoltan, and when Zoltan, Yarpen, Geralt, and Dandelion are in the inn and they're just chatting about everything. That was really sweet. He's the best. This hurts my heart so much. And then, you know, towards the end when they're all hanging out together and Ciri, Yen, and Geralt are traveling together for a bit. And Ciri's like, I gotta thank some people. I gotta, you know, pay my respects. And they go with her and they go to where the rats were murdered, and they find that guy who lives there, and she's like, they were probably thrown on some trash heap, but there were 6 people that were murdered here. Do you remember? And he's like, yes, here, I'll show you their graves. And there's like these wilted flowers and there's like proper grave sites for them, and Ciri is so moved that she's just like, who did this? Like, who was responsible for this? And he explains it was 2 main people, but like the whole town, you know, kind of did that for them, for those kids. And Yen's just like, you have to understand, like, your town will be properly compensated and rewarded for this. Like, she doesn't even know Ciri's side of the story yet. She doesn't even know who those kids are, but she can see how moved Ciri is, that she's just like, okay, like, you're gonna get money. Like, Yen is the fucking best. Okay, the 3 of them. And then Ciri's like, okay, now we're gonna go to this place. I need to visit a grave. There's an innkeeper that might have died because of me. And she goes, hatred and vengeance blighted me. I shall try somehow to make it up to his family. And Geralt goes, there's no way of doing that. And she goes, I know, but I shall stand before them in humility. I shall remember the expression in their eyes. I hope the memory of those eyes will stop me making a similar mistake. Do you understand that, Geralt? He understands, Ciri, said Yennefer. Both of us, believe us, understand you very well, daughter. Oh, I love that. Literally best parents. Like, what? Okay, first of all, what young adult, teenager, whatever, wants to go face her mistakes and look them in the eye and just like really try to be better? Oh, it's because her parents do that. They grow, and that's not like, having a character that you love doesn't mean that they're perfect. It means that they actively try to be better. And I thought that was just so beautiful. Oh, I wanted to ask you this. So here, chat. I want to hear your thoughts. So why the fuck did Geralt lie? Why did Geralt lie to Yen about Fringilla? Geralt, yes, Yen. When we weren't together, did you go with any other women? No. Not once? Not once. Your voice didn't even waver, so I don't know why I don't believe you. I only ever thought about you, Yen. Now I believe you. So I think it's like not even a lie, because in my opinion, to him, it was a dreamlike state. It was a distraction. I don't think it's a full-on lie. And I know you could argue me about that, but the fact she didn't even believe him when he said that, but then he clarifies and he said, I only ever thought about you. And she's like, okay, now I believe you. I think that it wasn't fully a lie. It was more just like, I don't know. She can read his mind. Oh. It didn't mean anything, so it doesn't count. And for me, I really genuinely think that there were charms involved. Only Geralt can get away with that. And again, it's extra. She slept with him and then broke up with him, you know? Like, I think it's more about where your heart is. Like, and I feel like their commitment to each other goes farther beyond like physical sex, because let's not forget in the games too, like I could go to a brothel at any minute and Yennefer, it wouldn't like lower the loyalty or lower my relationship with her. That's just like a physical need. And so I think when she said, did you go with any other women? I think she wanted to know if he like physically was with them, but had feelings for them, like had love, you know? Agreed, CAU. Right. Because he's so confident. I think it has to do with the charms. I think it has to do with how they view sex and like physical intimacy in this world, and how like actual sex is like not that huge of a betrayal. It's more about the emotional commitment. What it mattered. I ever only thought about you. I need to rewatch that, sir. I need to rewatch. She mentions in the dear friend letter that she's furious he never even asked about her condition. He knew that if Yen knew he'd been with the one who had blinded her at Sodden, an illness he never even took the time to ask about in the books, it would hurt her unbelievably. Hi, Day. I'm sorry. We're just talking about the book. Oh, I also love, sorry, this is jumping back, but when they're leaving, when Geralt and the rest of them are leaving Toussaint, Dandelion comes out to say goodbye and he's like, give Ciri a big hug for me. I don't know. It's just really cute.
We got a number one
Ghosty! Oh, the next part is really fucking funny to me and I want to read it to you guys. Dandelion about to get executed. I love that motherfucker. Ghosty! I love that Ghosty has their own little Ghosty emote. Thank you so much for the 1,000 bits. Oh my gosh. So, Dandelion, on the chopping block because of Anna Henrietta Navarro. And he's about to die. Okay, this was like the most humorous scene in the fucking book for me. And these books can be really fucking funny. I wish to address the townspeople, Dandelion proudly declared. Make it short. The poet stood on the edge of the scaffold and raised his hands. The crowd murmured and fell silent. Hey, people! God, Dandelion. What cheer? How go you? Bundling along, muttered someone after a long silence in a row towards the back. That's good. The poet nodded. I'm greatly content. Well, now we may begin. Master Executioner, do your duty. And he didn't. He genuinely thought he might die there. Like literally the most peak Dandelion thing. And then the Executioner goes, "Forgive me, good fellow." "Me?" asked Dandelion in astonishment. "Forgive you?" "Uh-huh." "Not a chance." "I'll never forgive you. Why should I?" "Have you heard him, the prankster? He's about to cut my head off and I'm supposed to forgive him? Are you mocking me or what? At a time like this? How can you, sir? For there's a law and a custom, and the condemned man must forgive the executioner in advance. Absolve my sin." "No." No, I won't behead him. He must forgive me, otherwise there's nothing doing. "Lord Viscount, don't make things difficult. People have gathered. They're waiting. Forgive him." He's asking politely, isn't he? I won't forgive him, and that's that. Oh my god. I'm dying. It was the best. He's so funny. And then Geralt asks him later, like, did you really think that you were gonna get pardoned? Like, did you think you were gonna die? And he was like, I don't know. It was just him. Hi, Dusty. I really love the part when Yen saved Dandelion from Ryan's and she thanked him for being a good friend to Geralt so he's not alone. I'm pretty sure they didn't mention that in the show. Nope. And also the Triss stands fail to mention that when they're arguing with me. I remember that stuck with me. It stuck with me that she saved him and they had their own relationship. And like, that's when you know someone loves you. When they interact with your friends or like your partners and they're like, thank you for being so good to blank. That's true love. Like, that's pure love. She's such a mama bear. She's such a wife. Like, she's complete wife material. Hi, Christian. The whole game happened for days. Yeah, but he didn't know. It could have been, I don't know. So in terms of Anna, I like her character. I like that she's, you know, the leader and the ruler. I think it would be really cool because I know y'all said we go to Toussaint, so it would be really cool to see if we find her in the game. Warrior, I see. No, I'm not talking about you. You don't have to choose Yen. I am excited. I'm excited to watch the Triss romance because someone pointed out to me, they were like, I really want you to see the side Triss brings out in Geralt. And I'm like, okay, like, I can get behind that. Like, no, I'm genuinely, I'm genuinely excited to watch that. I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to make the decisions, but I'm excited to see the differences. Anyways, I can't lie. Oh, I'm dying at Triss and Yennefer's interaction at the end. She's like, you aren't riding to a rendezvous with your lover, Triss. I'm neither so noble nor so stupid as to give you the chance. Like, she's just like going the fuck off on Triss. He knows about the role you played and will thank you for it with his eyes. Now she'll look at your trembling lips and shaking hands, listen to your lame apologies and excuses, and do you know what, Triss? I'll be swooning with delight. And she goes, I knew you wouldn't forget what I did, that you would take your revenge. I accept that because I was indeed to blame. But I have to tell you one thing, Yennefer. Don't count too much on my swooning. He knows how to forgive. Bumble, hello. Thank you for the 2 gift subs. I appreciate you. How you doing? You the best, Bumble. He knows how to forgive. For what was done to him? Indeed, Yennefer squinted her eyes. But he'll never forgive you for what was done to Ciri and to me. Take that, bitch. It's true. Maybe he won't. Particularly if you do your utmost to stop him. But he definitely won't bully me. He won't stoop to that. That's enough of this discussion, she snapped. A little more humility, you arrogant slut. I'm so glad we got to witness this conversation between them. He's my man, mine and only mine. Do you understand? Oh, I feel like grabbing you by that ginger mop of hair. Just try, you bitch, and I'll scratch your eyes out. I can't. Yeah, this is the major battle. And then before that happened, Yennefer goes, Ciri, I asked you to write on ahead a little. Let us have a talk. And Ciri goes, it's a monologue, not a talk. It kills me. Ciri, you're so sassy. And I love when Ciri meets with the lodge too. And I forget which one, maybe Sabrina or Margarita, was just like, well, we can see where she gets it from because she's super sassy. And then Yennefer's just like, it's the same as me. We get it from Tissaia. I know, Alexi, I know. It's almost like she did it. Like, I don't even know if she cares about Geralt that much. I think that she's like trying to fuck with Yen. I don't know. Oh my god, I loved that chapter so much, Navarro. Thank you for reminding me. The big battle. It was at Brenna, right? The Battle of Brenna with Foltest and Nilfgaard and how close it was. But I loved how it focused on the medical tent. I loved that so much. Oh my gosh. And the halfling, right? That was in charge, and like, I've never read a war chapter that resonated with me as much as that did. And then Cohen, F's in chat for Cohen, and Ciri predicted his death. Stitch red to red, yellow to yellow, yeah. Iola and Shani. I really like Shani. I'm gonna play the Witcher one just so I can choose her. Iola. I know, Zoltan. Oh my god, the dwarves are something else. No, it was really good. And that scene at the end where the medical tent is just sitting outside after everything is said and done, and they're leaning their heads on each other, and what's her face is doing like a magical laughing gas, and Cohen went to war after Triss told them in Kaer Morhen that they were too neutral. I'm going to fuck her up. Are you kidding me? That's why he went to war? I remember her saying that. And then she just went, and then she just went with the lodge. More like Daddy of the Lake, the men in that book. Yeah, because Ciri doesn't even want to be called Lady of the Lake. Yeah, I gotta go back, Django. I really gotta go back. Oh, also what I want to say.
Your tea will be ready very soon.
Oh, thank you. What are you so happy about?
Because it was being very squeaky.
So what I want to say is I like in the medical tent when I think it's a Scoia'tael. It could just be elves, but they come in and they're like ready to butcher people, and then they see that the medical people on Foltest's side are treating the elves too, and they just like back away. I also want to say, fuck Amir, fuck that motherfucker. Okay, I'm not calling him Ymir anymore. I'm calling him Dooney. I'm calling him Hedgehog Poop. Okay, I want to give a huge shout out to Bomba is Life. Okay, Bomba is the MVP of the stream. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good. Yeah. This is for Bomba. Because guess what? Bomba tried to let us know that Emperor Ymir wanted to have a baby with his own daughter. He considered that at one point. He considered having an actual real life baby with Ciri and marrying her and having an incest baby. And yes, he did the right thing at the end, but I don't even give a shit because he considered that at one point. And he's still a poopy expansionist motherfucker. Bomba MVP, yes. Award. Yeah, but also what I hate about Nilfgaard, something that really, really bothered me is the way that they treated the Scoia'tael. It really fucking bothered me. And the Scoia'tael were not what we saw in The Witcher 2 at that point. Like, they were a noble group, you know, but comparatively. But they were promised things, and Nilfgaard used them and discarded them. And that's just, I hate that hedgehog motherfucker, because he decides on something and then he fucking takes it back. But the fact that he used them and made all these grand promises, and then that scene, I think with Jar and Lucienne, and they're in the wagon and there's these like elves. This made me cry. There's these elves and they're like clearly starving and dirty and just like ragged. And it was like, for the first time ever, the elves reached out to the humans and like they were like, please, and asked for food. Yes, Gayu. So I'm really glad I chose the elves, the Scoia'tael, the first playthrough of Witcher 2. And I also want to say, sorry, I've been talking a lot. I want to say, I want us to remember Yorvith's dream in The Witcher 2. It hits so much harder now that when you go do that dream sequence, his true dream is just to sit by a fireplace and eat food. Do you think the author killed Geralt's company too easily? No, I wouldn't say too easily. I wouldn't say too easily. I feel like they knew what was going to happen when they went there. Yeah. Yep. Like, where the fuck did they go? Right, Jakba? Where did they go? Like, I really feel for them. It's not that I excuse their actions or, you know, I just... Same with the rats, you know, say what you will about the rats. They were kids. They were just kids. Think about the ending with Yen, Triss, and Ciri. Which part? Do you guys think they died? I guess it depends on if you play the games or consider the games canon. But I didn't get the impression that they died. I got the impression that the unicorn gave Ciri her powers back, and then Ciri took them to another place in time. But I guess Caleb told me some people think they died. Yeah, Navarro, it is really sad. Okay. Because I think the games are totally canon, for me at least. They make sense. I'll just change my canon playthrough to be not choosing Triss. On the Apple Island in Syria and England or Avalon. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Eftis. That's what I thought too. Oh, the way Yen tried to save Geralt and Triss just stood there doing nothing. Oh, wait, I think I bookmarked that. Because Triss tries to get them to leave and Yen's like, oh, here. Someone grab her by the arm. Let's flee from here, Yenna. Flee from here. I've heard her talking in a voice like that before, flashed a thought through Yennefer's head, with lips like wood that not even a droplet of saliva could moisten, lips that fear paralyzes, that panic makes tremble. I heard her talking in a voice like that on Sodden Hill when she was dying of fear. Now she's dying of fear too. She's going to die of fear her whole life. For whoever doesn't overcome the cowardice inside themselves will die of fear to the end of their days. Flee if you want to. Hide behind the skirts of your lodge. I have something to defend. I shan't leave Ciri alone, or Geralt. Get away, you rabble. Out of the way if you value your lives. Exactly, Roche. Yeah. And I know she does overcome that fear, but to me that's not really a redemption arc. That's just like her own personal arc. Like, I'm proud that she was able to overcome that and try and do that spell. Like, I'm proud of her and I'm happy for that character development, but it's not a redemption arc for what she's done in the books for me at all, you know? Hey, Disney. Oh my God, Disney, are you playing Disney Dreamlight Valley? It's so good. I'm obsessed. Yes. Yeah. I don't think there's any redeeming Triss fully. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I should read that. I don't know if I should read Season of Storms. If I do, I'm gonna take a break because I love how this ended and I love that I'm playing the games now. So I don't know if I'll jump straight into it. It's so good. I'm so glad you like it. But it's a prequel, right? I've heard it's not the best. That's so cute, Alexi. I love that. It's very good. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, sorry I talked a long time. And then if you have any questions, this goes for the YouTube video too. I know sometimes I forget about things, but like, feel free to ask questions. I'll respond to them in the comments or in the next Witcher episode. Like, yeah.